The top 10 most viewed Battle at the Berrics YouTube videos are the following. Hello, and thank you for joining another episode of Dumb Data, where we break down the numbers so you don't have to. In this breakdown, we're taking a look at the Berrics battles with the highest view count on their YouTube channel. Which Battle at the Berrics matches attracted the most eyeballs on the YouTubes? Let's take a look and dive into the data. Number 10. With just over 1.7 million views, is Luan Oliveira versus Morgan Smith from Battle at the Berrics 8 Round 2. Now more than 6 years after its upload date, this decently lengthy 86-turn match resulted in 69 successfully landed tricks, with Luan landing 35 and Smith landing 34. As we'll see through the progression of this top 10 list, Luan's popularity in the skateboarding world probably has somewhat of a correlation to the view counts in these highly watched matches. Luan's deep bag of tricks, fast pace, and height at which he pops are rivaled only by his bubbly personality and respectful, good sport demeanor. Combine all those factors that Luan brings to the table, mix it with the growing success that Battle at the Berrics has reached on the internet, then add a former Battle at the Berrics champion as the competitor in the form of Morgan Smith, and you've got yourself a YouTube video that's generated over 1.5 million views. On top of all of Luan's aforementioned traits, he's notorious for skating in tight matches, and this battle with Morgan Smith is no exception. Morgan Smith appeared to have Luan beat until he missed a cab heel flip for the third time, and gave Luan one too many opportunities to find the magic trick that would prove to be Smith's kryptonite, at least in this battle, the nollie hard flip. Number 9. With just over 1.8 million views is Sean Malto versus Donovan Strain from a Battle at the Berrics 10 unsanctioned event. Before someone decides to take it upon themselves to do their own research and argue that by including an unsanctioned event, the other unsanctioned events with high view counts need to be included, the dumb data rule for including this battle is because the winner would go on to compete in Season 10 as an individual skater with a fair shot at winning the championship. No other unsanctioned event had these implications, and were held in a lighthearted, purely for bragging rights vein, and therefore aren't considered for this top 10 list. When I first watched this battle a few years ago, I wasn't aware of the history between Malto and Strain, and the hostile energy between the two skaters caught me off guard. Malto and Strain had competed 10 years prior in Battle at the Berrics 1 Round 1, where Strain beat Malto on a double hard flip. This Battle at the Berrics 10 match that ensued encompassed the rivalry, and Malto and Strain did a convincing job of having no respect for one another. No other match to date can really be compared to this 88-turn battle filled with plot twists and unorthodox tricks. On top of the ongoing, highly entertaining trash talk, Strain's very first trick firmly set the tone of the match, and Malto confidently landing the double hard flip that ended him in Season 1 was a cherry on top. Unbelievable frontside flips, pompous switch flips, and one-footed hang 10 and late shove-its were the steady crescendo that built up to the battle's climax. Which was Malto's winning trick that would later become a prohibited maneuver in all future Battle at the Berrics matches.
No hand plants, no bonelesses, no grabs.
That was not a hand plant, that was not a boneless, that was not a grab.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first Manny loophole.
Counts. You got a loophole.
Found a loophole.
Coming for you, Louie.
Might as well break the board. I lost to a damn kid on it.
The champ, best of the best. Battle at the Berrics 10.
Number 8, and less than 50,000 views below the 2 million views mark, is Luan Oliveira versus Cody Cepeda, Battle at the Berrics 7 Championship Battle. So far, this is the shortest match on the list at only 43 turns total, but with the highest stakes as a championship battle. The ingredients in this battle include two skaters hungry for their first taste of a championship title. Cody Cepeda stoically blew up on the scene in the heat of his first season and was fresh off of wins against Seva, Tom Asta, Shane O'Neill, and Trent McClung. Luan's road to the ship wasn't much easier, if at all, requiring him to outskate Eric Coston, Moose, Chris Chan, and Tanner Lawler. Cepeda's flawless performance resulted in a complete domination of the battle, ending on a switch frontside bigger spin. Stir up these spicy flavors and you've got yourself a YouTube video with a lot of views. Number 7, with over 2.2 million views, is Paul Rodriguez versus Johnny Geiger, Battle at the Berrics 7, Round 1. Swiss YouTube skate star Johnny Geiger appeared to be on his way to a somewhat swift victory in this heavy matchup against highly respected pro skate vet P-Rod. Geiger managed to get P-Rod to letter A before understandably flubbing on a highly difficult backside varial heel flip, giving P-Rod the second win that would ultimately turn into an uphill battle for Geiger. Another relatively short match at 46 turns, Geiger struggled with a nollie hard flip and ultimately lost the battle. Putting together P-Rod's prestige and Geiger's internet prominence surely fed into what made this short but pressurized match a highly viewed battle on the Berrics YouTube channel. Number 6, with a current view count of 2.3 million, is Battle at the Berrics 11 Sean Malto versus Eric Coston, Round 1. Opening up last season with a bang, Malto and Coston battled for 79 turns before the match concluded. 13 turnovers took place in this battle, an absurdly high amount compared to the roughly 3.5 turnovers per match average. The hype of being the opening battle and the reputations behind the names of both skaters surely contributed to the view count on this match. Number 5, with almost 2.4 million views, is Luan Oliveira versus Cody Cepeda, Battle at the Berrics 8, Round 3. The numbers make sense when you do the math from this list by taking the Luan Battle at the Berrics 8 Round 2 match and adding Season 7 champ Cody Cepeda. In this battle, Luan lost the previous season's championship to his competitor, and his only road to another shot at the title in Season 8 was through Cepeda. 85 turns nearly doubled the match length from their last time competing in Battle at the Berrics, but Luan seemed to be reversing last season's championship battle by getting Cody to tee before receiving a single letter. On his second last try attempt, Cody somehow landed a backside double flip, and then proceeded to chip away at Luan with a nollie double flip, nollie double heel, forward flip, nollie frontside double flip, and finally a switch frontside bigger spin. By the way, this all took place after Cody got letter T from Luan on a switch frontside 540 on flat. No wonder this battle got so many views. Number 4, with 3 million views, is Nyjah Houston versus Mike Mo Capaldi, Battle at the Berrics 7, Round 2. Jumping up drastically to the 3 million plus views club, this YouTube vid shares the advantage with other Battle at the Berrics 7 videos by being uploaded a longer time ago, back in 2014. Based on some quick research, Mike Mo was famously injured in a golf cart accident at Woodward Skate Camp around this time, so this could be one of the few videos that showcases a pre-injured Mike Mo in his flat ground prime. Nyjah was gobbling up first place trophies at all the big contests, grinding his way to being considered one of the best competitors in skateboarding. At 83 turns total, this Battle at the Berrics match checked the long enough to invest in watching the video box. 8 turnovers, a letter T to letter T nail biter, and Mike Mo's posse cheering him on while Nyjah performs with his back against the ropes culminated to a smugly landed pressure heel flip by Mike Mo. Number 3, with 3 million views, is another Luan Oliveira match, this time versus Moose in Battle at the Berrics 7, Round 3. There's still 2 more matches on this top 10 countdown after this, and Luan's already been mentioned 4 times. If Luan were to drop out of competing in Battle at the Berrics, the view count would probably suffer. I'm curious to know what the breakdown of viewership looks like across different countries. Does Luan generate the views from YouTube watchers in his home country of Brazil? Or are Americans glued to the screen because of Luan? Guessing it's some ratio that accounts for both, but let's focus on what we do know. Another similarity here with previous matches on this list, the Luan Moose battle raged on for 84 turns and was a letter T to letter T barn burner. Around the time this video was uploaded, Moose was riding for Death Wish and was gunning for a shot at redemption to make the finals following his Battle at the Berrics 6 Round 3 loss to PJ Ladd. Unfortunately for Moose, Luan identified a weakness and forced the last 3 letters with varial flip variations. Number 2. With almost 3.6 million views, is Chris Cole versus Chris Chan, Battle at the Berrics 7, Round 1. As we later found out in Chris Cole's 9 Club interview, the dynamic of this match with Chris Chan was a lot like Johnny Geiger's, except Chan was an LA local and had the support of his friends and family at the Berrics.
And you played Chris Chan, and that was a crazy game, but that set his career pretty good.
Because I just drove up by myself, skated the contest by myself, and he brought 50 people.
He brought LA with him.
He doesn't seem like that type of dude.
No, he brought like his whole family because it was like his chance, right?
Okay.
While not the shortest on the list, the 63-turn, 6-turnover, letter T to letter T Cole-Chan match included eye-popping tricks coming from both skaters. Chan appeared to be yet another Cole victim in Battle at the Berrics until he hung on to a nollie backside flip. Chris Cole missed an offensive inward heel, which led to Chan capitalizing on letters A and T. It almost looked like Chris Cole was going to get E on a switch frontside 360 heel flip, but of course it's Chris Cole, so he landed it on the defensive last try. 4 more anxiety-inducing turnovers ensued before Chris Chan pulled off a switch varial double heel flip, which finally gave Cole letter E. Number 1, eclipsing 4 million views and leading second place by over 500,000, is Battle at the Berrics 11 Championship Battle, Luan Oliveira versus Chris Joslin. Here's some bullet points that support this battle's high view count. 1. 92 turns of exciting, well-executed flat ground between Luan, the third most consistent Battle at the Berrics skater, and Joslin, the competition's most consistent skater ever. 2. Joslin's opportunity to join PJ Ladd as a fellow back-to-back champ by winning this match. 3. Luan's second chance to win a championship since losing to Cody Cepeda in Season 7's final battle. 4. It could be argued from the video footage that this match had the highest in-person audience attendance, whose emotion can be felt through the screen and drives home the importance of this battle's outcome. 5. The Berrics live streamed this match, which I can only assume helped rack up the views. A potentially beneficial byproduct of this live stream was that the video would remain on YouTube in its nearly completely raw version, the same way it was seen live. While the trick names are absent without editing, the longer video length gives viewers more content to consume, and therefore could translate to a more enjoyable watch as opposed to a tightly edited and abridged version of the real thing. 6, and probably the most interesting yet confusing part of the match, is when Chris Joslin misses a heel flip late flip for the third time. Luan clearly performs a switch heel flip body varial that Joslin needs to replicate on defense. For whatever reason, Joslin seems to either think that he gets a redo on offense, or that Luan performed a heel flip late flip, because he goes on to land the heel flip late flip. Steve Berra stops the match and speaks with Joslin and Luan, after which time Luan flawlessly performs another switch heel flip body varial, when he really didn't even need to. Then, Joslin proceeds to correctly attempt and land the switch heel flip body varial, which drives the audience, Steve Berra, and the entire match itself to a fever pitch. Luan takes the switch heel flip body varial and adds a revert to the trick on offense, further cranking up adrenaline on the now hysterical crowd. Joslin reaches deep into his bag, relies on his consistency, and almost lands the trick on defense.
One more try, Chris!
Joslin gets one more try, somehow not letting the thought of a second championship on the line get to him while the crowd's incendiary energy is basically melting the venue. Joslin misses the trick, and Luan's fate is sealed as a Battle at the Berrics champion. However mysterious that misunderstanding was towards the end of the match, this number 1 viewed battle takes elements from all of the previous matches on this list and builds on them to surpass any other battle in view count terms. Before we wrap this up, there's something that's worth mentioning about the skaters who show up in these battles and their individual contributions to the view counts. Taking a middle-of-the-road approach and saying that the 14 skaters from this list each contributed 50% to the total view count of the video in which they appear, we have an individual breakdown that looks something like this. Holy sh**! I knew that by showing up 5 times on this list, Luan was clearly a popular Battle at the Berrics skater, but this really puts into perspective how big of an impact his participation has in the contest as it relates to view counts. You could add up Cepeda, Malto, and Joslin's numbers and the view count would still be behind Luan by more than 250,000 views. Thankfully for the Berrics, Luan is still scheduled to compete in Battle at the Berrics 12 Round 2 after his win against Tom Asta. What could be in store for Luan's future matchups? And how will the view count react? Well, that pretty much covers the top 10 most viewed Battle at the Berrics videos so far. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Dumb Data, click the notification bell to stay on top of new episodes, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. See you on the next Dumb episode.